Hello, good afternoon, W3 team. So today we had the opportunity to actually be a part of a four-panel discussion seminar at Apartment Association of Greater Dallas, where we were talking about how to get to the next level in your career. The title was called Different Journeys, Different Goals, Your Path to Leadership Success. And this is my contribution as a trainer that I share with you. The journey of Eric Franco, training director for W3 Leisure Living. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. I love this quote. One of my favorite authors up there with Oprah, T.D. Jakes, and Brene Brown. As a trainer, I can definitely attest to this quote on what people learn versus how you make them feel. A little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Dallas, Texas, a child of the 80s and 90s where there was good music like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and Toni Braxton, NSYNC, and Backstreet Boys, just to name a few. As a child, even now, I'm still comic book superhero geek. Um, I know you're probably all thinking, is this a step and repeat with the sponsors at TAA? No, I've actually been around the block. I've been in property management now for about 18 years. Throughout the years, I've had the opportunity to work on the property level, the corporate level, and the vendor side. I've been able to experience the lessons and headaches we go through each viewpoint. I was given the opportunity to cross train myself while still staying in the industry. To understand where I am now, you must know how it started. A little bit about my background. I started work at 15. My first job was in furniture retail. I am the middle child, so striving for attention came naturally for me. I shine when being in front of people in sales. All eyes were on me during my sales pitches. I felt like I was on stage. Growing up, I sing gospel R&B for a Christian record company in my teens. So in a sense, I feel like I've always been on stage. This job really helped me understand the art of repeat customer service. How you treat people and the service you provided really does affect the next purchases. So, at 15, my first job was in the furniture business. As you can see, I've actually kind of progressed and grew into my ears. With furniture, you buy one piece at a time. So my customers found a likability factor in me, which I took into leasing, and even today in how I teach with my training. After graduation, I came into some money and opened up my own pager company. A lot of people do not know what a pager or beeper is. That is an older device that you would find in the 90s where you would page somebody from a number. It would go to this little device with a phone number to get a call back. So I was doing great in the pager business for a while until the first cell phones came out, and then I had to adapt and change into selling cell phone accessories. So adaptability is a big part and so important in whatever field you're in. I always tell my students, love it, but don't marry it. Like many in our industry, I also had server and bartender era. I can honestly say I loved it. Unfortunately, that $300 or so a night didn't help me finish college. I did the whole take a year off of school and didn't return. In the service industry, you either stay in one position, make your money, or you choose to learn a new skill and move around, pick up different shifts. This era really taught me the benefit of cross training. So to this day, I still bartend on the side, and now and then help cater a party with a friend or two as a chef. Then, of course, the infamous leasing agent position. I started to want something different. I didn't know anyone in the industry, but would see job fairs in the paper for leasing positions. I thought, am I good enough for sales and to be in the service industry, um, in this type of industry with multifamily? I know that the service industry kind of made me humble, and it really taught me the value of helping people, and I really enjoyed that. So I thought, well, let's try a new company. So I started my first company with Gables Residential. I'll never forget the leasing manager of the property, Christy Maloney. She wasn't a designated mentor, but she literally mama beared me into being her mentee. I was brand spanking new to the industry. In my early 20s, I realized how important it is to find someone who will mentor you. Go into opportunities knowing you may not know it all. Be willing to learn, be open minded, and grow. So, one of the quotes that I do like that I think fits this is don't be afraid of being a beginner. No one comes right out of the gate knowing everything. As you can see here, this is my pager business in the restaurant industry, and this is probably my second company that I was with, Michael Stevens Interests. They're on property, the infamous, you know, leasing team in front of the plaque picture. While on site, I had the opportunity to hold the usual property management career path. So I was a leasing agent, assistant manager, and property manager. One of the things I wish someone had told me before was that aren't these aren't the only career paths when it comes to moving up in property management. Not everyone is meant to be an assistant manager or a property manager, and that's okay. Those roles shouldn't stop you on your road to reaching that next level. For some, the next level may be a leasing manager, a marketing manager, a mentor, or a maintenance trainer. The key is to have those conversations with your manager so you know what steps to take to be proactive toward that goal. Your company may not have a career path in place at this moment, but a good manager is going to want to help shape you and put you on the right path based on what your goals are. So don't be afraid to have those conversations. While working with Yardi, I had the opportunity to apply for different roles within the company that came up that would soon lead me to my current career. For those that are new to the industry, Yardi and Entrada are property management softwares, hence working on the vendor side. It was awesome being able to see the vendor side of things to gain the perspective how the clients can love us and then find our product a bit challenging. During my time at Yardi, I started to feel the plateau. For those of you not familiar with the career plateau, it's when you reach a certain point to where you feel you can't progress. I knew at this point I wanted more out of training. I wanted to learn more and do more with it. After careful consideration and prayer, I was recruited for a role as a national systems trainer, bringing me back to the property management side. This time, I was on the corporate side of things. One of the biggest strengths I gained over the years was the ability to see the whole picture. I'm one of those people who like to ask questions and know how things work. I was able to see why things work outside the way they do, what the method to the madness of how the software works, and how the corporate leadership combines those together to form processes and procedures. Over time, my training career continued to evolve, and I had to be innovative to keep up with the different styles of learning. As someone who does not have a degree, it was up to me to grow and prove my worth as a trainer. I had the opportunity to teach at the Entrada Summit, conduct the training with 200 plus attendees, some who would be my future employers. I learned the different training platforms like the Kirkpatrick training method of how to properly chunk your training. I added onboarding and training soft skills to my resume as well. My goal was to be a walking resume to continue to add and build to it. Currently, as you guys all know on the call, I work with W3 Luxury Living as a training director. I am involved with the AAGD Education Committee. I am a 2020 AAGD Sapphire Award winner, and I feel very honored and blessed to be where I'm at right now today and being able to share this with you. During my portion, I'm going to speak on 3 different things. I'm going to speak on the pursuit of knowledge, so tips on how to better develop your skills to keep the continuing education going. Taking a chance, so we're going to discuss overcoming the inner saboteur and find out what's holding you back, and shadowing mentors and cross-training, so the importance of observing and learning from others. Like I said earlier, I have yet to finish my college education. I'm not sure that path is the one for me. College isn't the only place to get an education, but one of the things I found helpful for me is to set time aside each week to exercise my brain. Have you guys ever heard of Learning Fridays? Well, Learning Fridays, their staff learning, this actually came from the school side of things, from public education. So they would have professional development days on Fridays, one Friday out of the month, to collaborate as teachers and instructors and board members, and come up with new ideas and help one another out. So I really have incorporated Learning Fridays within my own work schedule, within my own work method. So Learning Fridays for me is a day that I put aside everything and I concentrate on learning something new, whether it be a new book that I'm reading, a self-improvement book. There's some great books out there to kind of help you level up to that next level. Some, for example, are Brene Brown's Brave in the Wilderness, Daring to Lead, also by Brene Brown. And one of my favorites right now is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. So I'm not going to fool you. I don't read a lot of books. I'm a big audio book type of person, and I love podcasts. I love being able to hear the author really put inflections and feelings and certain points and opinions. Being able to hear these books audibly has allowed me to really feel like the author was speaking to me. It also helps during the week, during morning morning traffic. It gives me an escape, and when I get to work, I'm fighting myself to leave my car because it was getting so good. Um, Knowing the products you use. So product updates are really important. So it's so important to be a part of knowing how the product you're using changes. Many of us, here at W3 are used to waiting for an email to come out from myself or from Coleman on the new changes with the product. In Entrada, they do have the product updates that are sent out. Do yourself a favor, go into it and read the ones that are subject to what we use, and just get yourself familiar with it. That way, you know what to expect whenever you do get those monthly updates from us. Um, Many people know here that I send out a lot of affirmation emails, and I'm really big on that. So I get a lot of that from some of the books, some of the YouTube videos that I watch and listen to. So I really feel it's really good to pursue passion with podcasts. There's a lot of great podcasts out there that you can get familiar with. I also really believe that you need to take yourself out of your comfort zone. One of the things that I will say that I kind of somewhat struggle with is I I struggle at times with public speaking. As a trader, my job is to be in front of people, speak and convey software, product, and be a subject matter expert, which I can do easily. But when it comes to off the topic things and speaking on different subjects that I may not be too familiar with, the nerves do get me. That inner saboteur kind of talks to you. One of the things that I've done this past year, I have got officiated to do weddings. So as you see here in this picture, I am officiating a wedding. And weddings are big days for people. These are days where you can't really mess up, where the nerves, you have to shake those off and you have to get ready to perform at the best level you can do. So I would really, I'd really say just kind of get yourself out of your comfort zone, find something you can do to kind of push you out of it and to let go of that security blanket. That's a big part of getting to the next level. Last but not least, you're doing exactly one of these by listening to my video right now or taking courses on Edge to Learn. Sign up for some of the AAG courses that I send out via email, or look for multifamily insiders and register for their email so you get regular emails on some of the courses they have or some of the free go-to meetings that they talk to. They do a lot of trainer things. You don't have to be a trainer to be a part of it. You could be a leasing agent and get some stuff out of it. Some of my favorite go-tos, just so I can share with you, are the Oprah Super Soul Conversations. That's one of my favorites. I take a lot of good things out of that, whether it be professionally, spiritually, and just to be a better person. Brene Brown, Brave in the Wilderness, as I said before. Radical Candor is a podcast on leadership and different management styles. So good. YouTube instructor Matt Easton. Matt Easton does a lot of multifamily tips and tricks, whether it be leasing, assistant manager, and property manager. But there are some great takeaways you can do. If you would go to YouTube and find him on there, subscribe, you'll get some really good tips on that. Edge to Learn. You guys know we use Edge to Learn. We have Learn W3, that's Edge, aka Edge to Learn. We have some great webinars on there. A lot of the webinars may just be multifamily specific, but they're also some on balancing wellness in our industry, which a lot of times, we just got through a pandemic. We're going through different stages in life, and it's really good to have that balance of wellness. All right, you have to take a chance. So the next topic I wanted to go over is taking chances. A lot of times we miss opportunities because we're too afraid to take a risk. We're too afraid to go out there and apply for that open position. We're afraid to ask for someone to mentor you in the thought you might be rejected. I want to give you 4 tips on how you can learn to be bolder and to take more chances. All right, so tip number 1, identifying the risks. Some examples of taking a risk would be leaving your current company for another company. Also, maybe applying for a new job opening at your current company. It's a risk because of the fear of not having control of what the outcome could be. So first, you want to write out all the possible risks associated with the outcome. Write out the good and the bad. It's good to identify what those are. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm telling you it's okay to find a mentor. It's okay to apply for that assistant manager job that maybe you're not qualified for just yet, but there's a learning experience in all of it. Tip number 2, overcome the fear of rejection. The worst outcome of applying for a new job or asking for a raise, etc., is hearing the answer no. Disappointment puts a huge roadblock on your path to success. And the fear of rejection, it packs a punch twice. You're either afraid to hear the word no, or you end up with regret for not trying. So you got to make sure that you get over that fear of rejection. Like I said, the worst outcome is just somebody could say no. But at least you know that you're not going to regret that because you tried. If I could tell you the number of times I heard a no to something that I applied for or asked, we could go on forever on this training call. I've gotten told no so many times. But you have to brush it off and know this just wasn't the right door or time for you. I can recall interviewing for a team lead position at Yardi. I was overqualified, I had tenure, and they gave the position to someone who I trained. I felt like a slap in the face. I trained this person, and now this new person is my boss. I remember driving home that day crying to myself thinking, man, this hurts. I ended up going back to work on Monday, congratulating her and telling her anything you need to help make you successful in your role, please do not hesitate to ask me. My boss saw this from me, and the next week promoted me to a team lead position they didn't have open. Because of the way I handled that situation, they created a team lead position that they did not necessarily need and had me split up our employees together, and I got that position after all. So overcome that fear of rejection. Tip 3, get out of your comfort zone. I know I just talked about that a minute ago, but change up your routine. Do something different. Choose a fear and face it. Expand your professional skill set. Besides rejection and hearing the word no, another thing that prevents us from taking chances are we choose to not experience the unknown. I can honestly say I was a little nervous to do this class at AEG today. I kept thinking, what can I do to cancel on the board member there and get out of this training? My workload lately has been completely full. And I was like, okay, that could be a good excuse. But I chose to step out of what makes me comfortable. Who knows? Maybe who knows, one thing or idea I brought to the table today might affect someone in that class today in a good way. Tip number 4, speak it into existence. As everybody knows, I do Affirmation Mondays. I'm a huge affirmation person. Affirmations activate your reward center of the brain. What we think of affects our subconscious thoughts. The more you hear something, the more you start to believe it, and in turn, you act out of those beliefs. When using affirmations, think about what you would like to change. Turn negatives into positives. Write your affirmations in the present tense, and lastly, be sure the affirmation is achievable. Truly believe what you're saying. If you don't take risks, you can't create a future. Monkey D. Luffy. All right, I can send you this exercise along with this video, but this is a great exercise just to do on your own, is to create a bragging list. So you want first create a list of everything that you do well, everything that you excel at. Create that bragging list. Okay, so it's good to know what your strengths are, what you're bringing to the table, why you have worth. What makes you favorable for your position or for moving forward. So create that bragging list. 2, list your excuses. So what's stopping you from moving to the next level? What are those excuses that you're giving yourself? For example, mine was, oh, my workload's too high, or I'm nervous, I can't do this class. So you gotta list those excuses out. Okay, so you know what are actually real excuses, and these are real reasons why you're making yourself think you can't do this. And 3 is rewrite your own story. That's where these activations come into play. Write out, I can do this. I can move to the next level. I will exceed my goal, and I will be an assistant manager. I will be a trainer one day. Write these achievable affirmations and rewrite your own story. This is your life. This is your story. This is where you come into play. You are in charge of that. You got this. Finally, one of the biggest lessons I've learned along the way was to find a mentor you can shadow. I also believe in the success of cross-training. I can tell you the number of times I said, woohoo, job security, because I'm handling something new at work. It really does come in handy. I know my fellow speakers have already touched on mentors. So earlier today, the people I spoke with touched on mentors. So I'm going to go into a little bit of that because you guys weren't there. But I wanted to give you guys a few qualities I personally look for in a mentor. Of course, someone that agrees. Of course, you want to make sure you find someone that agrees to be your mentor first. In the pics above, I have two of my current mentors. My current boss, Z Young, many of us know, and Sadowski. Two amazing women who are knowledgeable and experienced. I hope to be as quick with solutions as Z, an amazing speaker like Anne. A few qualities are: they're great listeners, they're honest and non-judgmental. You want to find a mentor that you respect and admire, and you want to find a mentor that they care for your growth. Another thing I would recommend when it comes to moving to that next level is to get into cross-training. Cross-train as much as you can. Make yourself more valuable by learning new skills. It keeps things interesting, and you never feel bored at work, and you can always step in when needed. I teach us a lot when it comes to my new hires and onboarding. I have a shadow log where I want them to cross-train with everybody as much as they can. It helps them understand everybody's role, and it gives you a better appreciation for them as well too. So cross-training helps you develop new skills. It keeps you engaged, and if anything, there's new possible career opportunities by you knowing these things. For myself, I don't know where the road down the road looks for me as far as a training director or training manager, but maybe the next step is a regional manager one day. Who knows? But I do know that by me asking my boss weekly, hey, is there anything that I can take off your plate? She's allowing me to cross-train and learn what she's doing a little bit. During my time at W3 so far, these past 4 years, I've learned so much from my whole team, from Lori, from Z, from our regionals, from Coleman. I've gotten the chance to do due diligence, audits. I've learned the chance to work on recovery payments and write-offs. Those are things that don't necessarily are not necessarily in my job description as a trainer, but it makes me more well-rounded. It keeps my job interesting, and I feel like it's something great that I can even add to my resume. So that was in a nutshell kind of what I went over today. I hope that helped you guys out. Um, Once again, I just went over some tips on getting to the next level that I went over in our class: pursuit of knowledge, taking a chance, mentors, and cross training. You guys got this. Once again, I would really recommend talking to your managers and find a career path that works for you and your managers. We have some of the best managers here at W3. I really do believe in them and know that they want the best for you, and they want to continue to mold you and shape you into the best versions of yourself. Thank you guys for listening.